Before we get into this video, I'm giving away $100 to a random comment on this video. Comment down below what you think I should be putting this 2J in. I know it's gonna be a truck, so leave some suggestions. You must be subscribed to this channel in order to win. I'll Venmo you, Zelle, however you want. So with that, let's get into building this 2J. Now let's start putting this 2JZ together. So this is a short block straight from Toyota. So this comes pre-assembled with crankshaft, pistons, rings, bearings, rods, all that stuff. This is a 2JZ GTE block. It was about $3,200 from Toyota. I'll be putting all the part numbers and where I got everything in like a Google Doc, so you can find them super easy. This is gonna be a very, very detailed assembly of a 2JZ. So if you need specific bolts for everything, I'm literally building this from the ground up. So it's gonna be very detailed, it's gonna be a long video. So I'm gonna leave timestamps in the description. So if you need to jump to the oil pump, the water pump, pretty much any part of this engine, I'll leave little timestamps so you can just jump straight to it. But so the first thing with this engine block, when you buy a brand new one, it's not gonna have any of the dowels in it. So these little dowels need to go on where the oil pan is, the oil pump, the rear main seal retainer, and then also, of course, for the cylinder head. I already pre-installed the dowels for the rear main seal retainer. So mainly because once it's on the engine stand, it's hard to hammer those in. So these ones are the small little ones. You just pop them in, hold them in place, and then basically just tap them in. So once you tap those in, we need to do the oil pump side, because that's what we're gonna do next. And then also we need to do the oil pan. So if you look here, here are the dowels for the rear main seal retainer. So these do not come in the block if you're buying a brand new block. If you have a used block, these will most likely already be installed. But if you need new ones, these are what you're gonna get. This is what the little package looks like of all of the dowels. So we're gonna put the dowels in where the oil pan is gonna go. So one is gonna go right here. It doesn't have threads and it bottoms out. This one doesn't have threads either, but there's a hole that goes all the way through. So just be careful not to slam that thing all the way through. You have two sets of these big ones. One of the sets is gonna go for the transmission. So make sure you hold on to those ones. You want to test fit this pan just to make sure you're flush everywhere. So if one of these dowels is sticking up too much, you need to hammer it down a little bit. Mainly the one that is a pass-through. Just make sure your oil pan sump is going to be seated flush. Next, we're gonna do the dowels for the oil pump. So if you can see here, these are the ones that have the pass-through. They're the smaller ones in the set. We're gonna go one up here, and we're gonna go one over here. You'll notice, you might not be able to see on camera, but all of these holes are threaded. These two have threads in them, but there's a little section on the inside that's not threaded. So these will go on, and then a bolt is gonna pass straight through it for the oil pump. You'll know it's seated. You can hear it. It's kind of like a clanking sound, and then it'll bottom out, and it'll be a dull sound with the hammer. That's how you know that it's hit the bottom and you're good to go. So now we're gonna install these seals. So this is the front main seal, and we have the rear with the retainer. So once again, this does not come on a short block. You need to buy this separately. So with every single piece on here, or every single piece that we're gonna be installing, you have to buy separate, all the way down to the bolts. So with this seal, we're not gonna grease up the outside. We will put some grease on the inside, just so on the crank, it's not dry. But with the seal going in, you don't need to grease it, but you need to lightly tap it in. Make sure you're not like mushing the edges or anything. And then we're gonna push it all the way down until it's flush with the edge of this oil pump. So we got our grease right here. We're just gonna take a little bit of grease and just go on the inside. Just so we don't have to do it after. Alright, greased. Since we have the glove on, we'll do the big one as well. Give it some good pushes with your hands. All right, now once you got it nice and flush, you're ready to go. Now we're gonna do the rear main seal. Same thing. Get it started as much as you can with your hands. All right, now that we've got both of our seals installed, I did finish this one. It is perfectly flush. Might be a little bit low on some of the sides, should be fine though. So my oil pump is not just a stock oil pump. Well, it is, but it isn't. So I bought this oil pump from Drift Motion. So they CNC this to get rid of any sharp edges that are anywhere where the oil flows. They also like shim the oil valve. I don't know, they do a whole bunch of stuff. And they also open this up, grease it, so it is ready to go on first start. They also red Loctite, and they change these flush bolts, well, to make them flush, but they change out the stock like Phillips head ones. So this is gonna be a little bit better for drifting. I mean, it's gonna be just better in general. I know this is maybe like $150, $200 more than a stock oil pump. If you're not gonna be making a ton of power, the stock one will be fine. You can even do all of the stuff they do yourself. If you look up RS Garage, I think that's what it is, RS Garage, but there's a ton of videos on oil pumps for the 2JZ on how to prep them if you want to go this route. They also have some like race version that they do some other stuff to it, and they can add a fitting to the end. But I bought this pre-worked on. You can buy the stock OEM Toyota oil pump, no problem, but you probably should at least take the bolts out, take this all out, put some assembly lube on the inside on the gears so you're not running it dry, putting this back on, torquing these to spec with some red Loctite, just to be sure. So let's put this oil pump on and the rear main seal. We are going to be using some FIPG from Toyota. It's their gasket maker. I highly recommend picking that up instead of just going with some random gasket maker. Don't forget to put your O-rings on first before you put gasket maker on your oil pump. So you just need these two little O-rings right here for the oil pump. So for the oil pump, you're only going to use the FIPG on this inner line. Make sure you go under each of these bolt holes. These two lines right here are just for spillover. So when you put this on, it's going to squeeze out and it's just going to catch into this little groove so it doesn't go in these holes. This is what it should look like, and you need to go quick. You got two long bolts. The two long bolts go all the way on this side. We're torquing these down to 15 foot-pounds. Same thing with the rear main seal, just follow it with the FIPG. And then this one's a little harder, but you just need to line up these pins. If you can do this one off the engine stand, that's probably better. All right, now we're gonna do the upper oil pan, and putting the gasket maker on this is gonna be a little bit different. The best way I like to do it is, so you're gonna put it in these little channels, but wherever you see around, you're gonna go around that. So there's different holes. These holes go into the oil. These are outside holes. So this is like, you can see my finger. This one, you can't. So the best way is just to go wherever it's like a little round, go around that. Don't go on the inside of that. So we're gonna follow down, around, down, and then we're gonna go inside, inside, inside. So we wanna seal off these holes from the outside, and then these go back in the pan, so it doesn't really matter. But I'm gonna put the gasket maker on this, and then we're gonna toss it on. I'll show it to you how it looks, and you can like pause the video and see exactly how it is. Don't forget to add one of your O-rings to this slot before putting the oil pan on. So I went ahead and already cleaned off this surface on the block and on the actual pan itself. So just so it has better adhesion, we're not contaminating the surface. But right before I put this on, I'm gonna add a little bit of extra RTV in these little gaps where we put the oil pump and the rear main seal retainer, just to be sure that we're not messing anything up. So let me get this on. All right, here's the pan. we've got big bolts and we've got little bolts. This part you gotta go pretty quick, but be very careful when you're doing these bolts, because you do not want to drop any of these into your block, because you are not gonna have a fun time getting it out sometimes. You also don't want to damage any pistons or, you know. All right, so these 14mm bolts are torqued to 29 foot-pounds. And the 12mm bolts are torqued down to 15. So this upper sump is on, torqued, and ready to go. Like I said, these bolts are from Mazworks. So they make a bolt kit just for the 2JZ that has, I don't know exactly everything, but it has the full oil pump setup, the oil pan setup, the oil pump, the water pump. It does have like the covers and like a few other things. So if you're doing a rebuild of your engine, I highly recommend picking up one of those bolt kits, because the last thing you want to do is strip a bolt or throw rusty bolts in. It's like 80 bucks for the whole pack, and you get a bunch of brand new bolts and just like a little bit of peace of mind when just doing a full rebuild. Or obviously, like me, I'm doing a full ground up build, so I obviously need the bolts, and that just relieves some of the headache of trying to find what bolts go where, what size bolts I need. Now we're moving on to, we need to get the oil pickup on, oil baffle, and then the oil pan. The oil pickup, you do have a gasket. I believe this pan setup, so I bought this whole pan setup from a guy on Facebook Marketplace, but it's basically just like a kit you buy from Toyota or from Drift HQ, wherever. So it came with this. I believe there's one that comes in the gasket kit if you buy the master gasket kit, which I do have as well. But we're gonna put this one on. Now we're gonna do the oil baffle. We're gonna just line it up with these holes. And then we're gonna take these bolts and just drop them in. So these are the bolts from the Mazworks kit. I know the OEM bolts have like, I want to say they're washers and lock washers, so you don't need to put anything on them. I put a little bit of blue Loctite on these ones just for a little bit of safety so they don't fall out. Because the last thing you want is a little bolt flying around in your engine, destroying it. After you put all this hard work in assembling it, you don't want one of these little bolts destroying it. So we're gonna snug all those down. All right, now we're gonna do the oil pickup. Leave this last bolt, it's like further on the end, you'll see it. That is for the oil pickup, little bracket right here. So we're just gonna put that on, line it up with the hole, take the last bolt and thread it in. Bolt kit also comes with hardware for the pickup. So all of these bolts and nuts are torqued to 78 inch-pounds. 8.8 Newton meters. Next up, we're doing the oil pan. So, same thing, gasket maker. You wanna go on the inside of these bolt holes. So we wanna make sure that we seal the oil in. So if you go around the bolt hole, obviously oil can seep through where those bolts are. So make sure you go on the inside of all of them. All right, gasket maker is on. All right, once again, we put some Loctite on these. Just a little blue Loctite. I'm just gonna thread all of these puppies in first, and then I just zip them all down with the ratchet. And same torque spec as the baffle. All right, we're gonna toss this oil pump on. We need to throw an O-ring in here. Nice big O-ring. This is just an OEM water pump from Toyota. We're gonna get one of these bolts started. Get this one going. Now, these are all torques to 15 foot-pounds. All right, now the last thing we are putting on in this video is I'm deleting the oil level sensor. So this is just a little billet piece from Drift Motion, and it comes with a little O-ring. Just toss it on there, throw a few bolts in there, and that's it. Now we got the whole bottom end of this 2J done. I need to order a drain plug because this kit obviously didn't come with it. And in the next video, the head is going on as well as the valve covers and the whole timing components. So that'll be a little bit longer of a video, a little more in depth on that. But I'm happy to get at least some progress done on this. Please like this video, it really helps me out. I'm trying to do this full time. That's the goal. And every like, comment, subscriber really helps, especially on this build series. And do not forget to comment and you can win $100. I'm gonna be picking a random comment on this video, and I honestly might do it on every single video of this build series. So just stay tuned, throw on that freaking bell notification, and you'll get notified with every one of these new videos that I drop. But with that, I will see you in the next video.